you have seen every other yandere in the book and think that this is yet another Tuesday for you, or this is your first introduction to yanderes. Either way, despite everything she has done, you still think you can fix her. You just so happen to be into bland basic bitches. You're either really proud of your obscure waifu choices, or you like the idea that she can give you a foot job from a mile away. Same as kind Mita, but you're either cooler, or you just say that so you can be liked by everyone else. Also, you really liked it when she pulled out the vibrator. There's no way around this. You're a pedophile. FBI, open up! You either get way too attached to small things, or you're one of those people who unironically laugh at those jar memes. You either think that kind Mita is overrated, or you really like women with short hair, and you'd hear her lectures over anyone else's. Either way, you have good tastes. You are down horrendously bad, and are willing to fuck anything that moves. Or you're only doing this for an unfunny joke. Either way, you have shit tastes. Same as Wandering Mita, except you are one of those people who'd fuck their own OCs. You're one of those guys who claims that their favorite game is Doom, but you actually like Helltaker instead. Also, you have shit tastes. You either have depression or abandonment issues and wish you had someone you can relate to. Same as before, but instead you have a shitty sleep schedule. Either that, or you have a sleeping fetish. You should be investigated. You are definitely a DDLC fan going into this game, and you're never growing out of that phase anytime sooner. You also like characters that seem to be hateable on purpose. You also unironically like twin tails. Either way, you have definitive shit tastes. Still better than Tiny Mita, I'll give you that. Same as Ghost Mita, except you're either a hardcore weeb or incredibly introverted. Either that, or you like women with glasses. You also have an even bigger hate boner towards Crazy Mita. With all that in mind, you have definitive good tastes. You understand how mistreated and misunderstood she is, and you desperately want to give her more love than any of the other Mitas. Either that, or you're one of the very few that thinks that she's really fucking hot, and you are heavily mocked and insulted by people who have arguably worse fictional crushes or ships. Either way, you have definitive good tastes. You either have a thing for robot ladies or tall ladies, or both, and you wish that she had a voice line or two. Either way, you have good tastes. You want at least one test subject to see if she's good enough, only to get cooked at the last second. You wish you cracked the case of this guy's beloved Mita. Same as before, but you like obscure ships, and you think that this one in particular makes more sense as they're in the same location. You like the idea of shipping survivors with optimists, as their contrasting backgrounds make for a perfect couple. Same as Player X Tiny Mita, except you want to mask your pedophilic tendencies, or have someone else take accountability. Also, you unironically defend pedophiles. FBI, open up! You definitely have a friend or two who unironically laughs at those jar memes. You think that this is his beloved Mita because you have a theory that she saved him from a potential attack from the dummies, and you never let that go. Same as Player X Dummy Mita, except the bad joke aspect is more obvious. You definitely have that one friend who is in a parasocial relationship. You have that one friend who actually likes Doom, and you want to ruin that for them. You have that one friend going through tough times, and you want to make them feel better somehow. Same as Kind Mita, but you wish he had an even easier life. Same as Player X 2D Mita, but it's your friend who is even more annoying about their DDLC obsession. You have that friend who is a hardcore weeb and you want them to be with at least someone. You are someone who mocks people for their taste in waifus, and this is one of your many methods of torment. But you end up making yourself look like a fucking idiot who is in the wrong the whole time, and made their day better. Same as Ugly Mita, but you specifically mock people for liking robot women or tall women. You found out that these are the only boy characters in the game, and you definitely want at least some yaoi. You really like the idea that you found her in Crazy Mita's basement, and you think they're doing some really freaky shit when no one's looking. You like the idea of Player X Wandering Mita, except you're afraid of admitting that you like the latter, or you're just really bored and went off from there. Same as Kind Mita, except you think that said freaky shit is how Cappy really lost her memories. You have a very unhealthy way of coping with your own abusive parents. FBI, open up! Same as Player X Chibi Mita, but you have a giantess fetish. Same as Kind Mita, but with a whole lot of spectators. You figured that she was a dummy herself and you went out from there, or you are that desperate for her to be in some kind of orgy. Same as Wounded Player X Mitaphone, but either you or your friend are definitely a deranged VTuber fan. You like the idea of a badass hero having a hot yandere lover. You heard a theory that she stole the latter's skin, and instead of hate, you felt arousal. Same as Player X Sleepy Mita, but you definitely have a sleeping fetish, but you want someone else to take accountability, or you're just someone who finds them hot. There's no romance in this. You just want her to snap 2D Mita in half like the cardboard cutout she is. Same as kind Mita, but you like shipping characters with their killers. What is wrong with you? Same as before, but you like shipping characters with their abusers. I fucking hate you. There's no romance in this. You just want to give Crazy Mita what she deserves. Serves her right for killing my wife and mistreating my other wife. Please shut the fuck up about DDLC already. You remember that she takes pity on the latter and you never let that go. You are one of those people who looks at a normal functioning friendship and says,
"Oh, they fucking..." What? They're just saying hi to each other.
You're one of those fucks who mask their ulterior motives as being kind and wholesome. But I don't give a fuck, you're still a pedophile. FBI, open up! You either saw the moment where she literally gives birth and that got your incest senses tingling, or you have a giantess fetish but like kind Mita more. Same as Cappy, but you want the former to have a more competent friend. Your favorite type of hentai is the ones where the women get raped and ravaged. You are fucked up. Same as Cappy, but more parasocial. You like the idea of kind Mita x crazy Mita, but you still have a hate bone towards the latter. You really like the idea of kind Mita being there for every other Mita who got it bad. You like the idea of shipping contrasting personalities, or you're just someone who finds them hot. You have been mocked all your life for being a weeb, and you desperately need a waifu to comfort you. This is the same as player x ugly Mita, but you're either someone who finds them hot, or you are more of a firm believer in a redemption for ugly Mita. Same as dummy Mita, except height difference is your favorite genre of a hentai. And minus the rape. I hope. You headcanon that they share the same intellect and went off from there. Same as kind Mita x tiny Mita, except I hate you more. You have a giantess fetish, but like Cappy more. You really like the idea of relationships with clashing intellect. Same as kind Mita x dummy Mita, but you really want to start a fight with the fanbase, don't you? You think that Cappy was raised on an iPad. You like the idea of hetero Mita having a player 2 on her side. Same as kind Mita x ghost Mita, but way more optimistic and wholesome. Same as kind Mita x sleepy Mita, but you feel like the latter needs to be tormented more. Literally the same as kind Mita x 2D Mita. You like the idea of extrovert x introvert. Same as wandering Mita, but they definitely share the same intellect. Same as kind Mita x core Mita, but you want whoever's at the bottom to do that ahegao face. You really want to romanticize the idea of stranger danger. You like the idea of a kid playing with their toys a bit too much. You really like the idea of teacher x student. Same as kind Mita x dummy Mita, except you're definitely a sex offender and you should be locked up. You really like the fact that most kids are raised on iPads. You have shit taste and you're a pedophile. You really want to give Ghost Mita some source of happiness. But let's be real, you have ulterior motives in mind. You miss the days when you'd sleep with a parent. Why must you ruin that for everyone? You're a DDLC fan and you're a pedophile. You miss the days when you'd play a game or two with a younger sibling. But I don't care, this is the same as kind Mita x 2D Mita, except now you're using my wife and a woman with glasses to hide your pedophilic tendencies, and you should kill yourself. Kill yourself. Kill yourself. You have a giantess fetish and you like your obscure ships. Same as before, but you also have a teacher fetish. Same as before, except you like it when small things get ravaged and torn to shreds. You need help. You like the idea that these two were doing some freaky shit before we arrived at the funicular. You have shit taste and a giantess fetish. The worst of both worlds. This is the same as Tiny Mita x Ghost Mita minus the pedophilia. You like the idea that Sleepy Mita would cuddle with Chippy Mita like a plushie. You are Tobias Jacobs. You have a giantess fetish, but you like women with glasses. So basically me in an alternate timeline. Same as Sleepy Mita, except you like ugly Mita more. Your first sexual awakening was from seeing Evangelion or some other giant robot fights. You think that she practically lives with these things and decided to go off from there. You like online classes or other voice calls a bit too much. You like the idea of Cappy x Hetor Mita, but you like short-haired Mita more. You desperately want to fuck short-haired Mita. You yourself fell asleep during long lectures and you decided to go off from there. You were that bad student on purpose, just so you can get scolded by your teacher, because it turns you on. You think that Mila needs someone who's just as smart as her. You think that short-haired Mita should live with a somewhat less dangerous and more misunderstood misfit. Same as dummy Mita, but you like core Mita more. You just really hate wandering Mita. You take pleasure at hearing rape rather than seeing it. You're still a monster though. You really want Hetor Mita to have sex with the demons instead of killing them. You remember that they're in the same segment and went off from there. As if Ghost Mita didn't have it bad enough, you're definitely a rapist. Same as kind Mita x 2D Mita, but you want to see the latter get torn to shreds. I hate you. I really do. Okay, now you're just asking for a death battle at this point. You really want some robot on robot action, and this is your only option. You like shipping characters that are really unpopular. You're only able to make friends online than IRL. You want to protect Ghost Mita but couldn't choose a better Mita. You desperately don't want Ghost Mita to be alone. You're just the most down bad DDLC fan. You desperately don't want Mila to be alone. You like the idea of two misfits being together and staying together. You are really down bad for core Mita. You want to fuck the people from your dreams. You unironically fall asleep while on VC or VR. You had a wet dream of the Doom guy. You think that DDLC is boring as fuck and you only like it because of the women. You have the hots for that one lazy friend or roommate. Same as Chibi Mita x Sleepy Mita, but you don't have a giantess fetish and you like ugly Mita more. You like sleeping with electronics. You are ultimate despair. You like it when VTubers play visual novels and ship them with the characters. There's no romance in this. You just want 2D Mita to eat lead. You like shipping weebs with their waifus. Same as before, but with Hikikomoris. Or you're doing this just to spite me. Same as Crazy Mita x 2D Mita, but you like core Mita more. You yourself have your own obscure fictional crushes and want someone you can relate to. You unironically partake in e-dating. Same as Wounded Player x Hetor Mita, but your plan has miraculously failed. You have that one friend who likes robots or is a machinist, and you want to make them happy somehow. You think that both of them are freaky and went off from there. You just really hate ugly Mita. And I hate you too. Same as Dummy Mita x Hetor Mita, but you like ugly Mita more. Same as Mila x Core Mita, but you already know that I love ugly Mita. You're just really bored. This is the same as Dummy Mita x Hetor Mita, but you like wandering Mita more. You like the idea of a badass hero having a relationship with the voice over their walkie-talkie. You're just really horny. Same as before, but it's instead your friend who just got into this game. You really just want some girl-on-girl action, and you think that the players aren't good enough for any of them. You have a massive hate border towards Crazy Mita, you like obscure ships, you understand their struggles, and you think they're hot. Either way, this is my OTP, and if you too ship them, then we're friends. You have definitive good taste.